Electric vehicles are all the rage these days, and rightly so. After all, they're great for the planet, and the world's biggest car manufacturer, Toyota, has finally gotten with the program, announcing last year they had no fewer than 16 new models in the works. But it's not all great news for the company. Today, we are discussing the company recalling almost 3,000 cars for a pretty wild reason. Stay with us. Let's jump straight in then. What's going down? Well, rather terrifyingly, Toyota have last week revealed that they are recalling 2,700 cars because the wheels are in danger of falling off. As the world's biggest car maker, this will be pretty worrying. Toyota has explained that the car in question is the BZ4X model, with around 2,200 supposedly being sent to Europe and the rest to North America and Japan. In a statement released last week, the manufacturer said, after low mileage use, all of the hub bolts on the wheel can loosen to the point where the wheel can detach from the vehicle. If a wheel detaches from the vehicle while driving, it could result in a loss of vehicle control, increasing the risk of crash. I mean, what? That's a pretty nonchalant way to say your new car is basically a death trap. The statement urged owners not to drive the cars as they seem to have no idea what is causing it, but Japan's safety regulators seem to believe the sudden braking and sharp turning could be at fault. So far, there haven't been any reported accidents, but this is a seriously embarrassing issue for the Japanese automobile maker, who have suggested they will have 30 fully electric models by 2030. The company have been vocal critics of the EV market in the past, claiming that it's not as safe as people think, especially when the wheels aren't fastened on properly. Am I right? Do you own a Toyota? Next up, Toyota has their eyes set on the Indian market. Hopefully the company can make sure the wheels on their urban cruiser Hyrider are secured on properly, as they have big plans for the model on the subcontinent. Late last week, the company unveiled plans to unleash its first mass-market hybrid car on one of the world's fastest-growing markets. The car comes in conjunction with Suzuki and will supposedly rival Hyundai and Kia, who both have a pretty decent hold on the Indian market. Toyota are marketing the cruiser as an ultimate game-changer. However, some have questioned the decision to focus on the Indian market, whilst infrastructure for EVs might not yet be in place. Toyota has long faced criticism for dragging their feet in relation to making a switch to electric vehicles, but the company have always claimed that hybrids only make sense in places that are equipped to deal with them, i.e. with the facilities in place to actually charge them. Of course, India isn't particularly well equipped to deal with the sudden influx of EVs, but that hasn't stopped their government from pushing manufacturers to introduce more to the market. At the moment, the cruiser is only available in gas and diesel models in India, so this will be a big test, as uptake on EVs in one of the world's most populous countries has been slow to say the least. What do you guys make of Toyota's plan for India? Next up, some EV news out of Europe. Stay with us. European supercar owners could soon be a dying breed. That is, if the EU has anything to do with it. Apparently, they are in the early stages of drawing up legislation, which could see the sale of new supercars banned across the continent. Oh dear, and that even includes Italy, who petitioned the EU to allow a Ferrari exception recently, which fell on deaf ears. I mean, what makes them think they're so special? This is all part of the plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 55% by 2030, which was today, July 2nd, agreed upon by 27 countries in the EU. As well as this, the UK, who quite famously are not part of the EU anymore, have set out plans to completely ban the sale of new petrol and diesel cars by the same year. This is, of course, fantastic news for the EV market, and those companies which saw this coming years ago and decided to get a head start on it will obviously be rewarded handsomely for their foresight. However, most of those who have adopted to EVs are not supercar manufacturers, and this will be a worry for some companies, but it should not stop the move towards electricity. I mean, they've had a pretty good run. Greenpeace spokesman Benjamin Steffen said, banning new oil-burning cars is the right thing to do. Spot on. What do you think of this? Good idea? A warning for British drivers now. The UK will completely stop the sale of all gas and diesel cars in 8 years' time, which should prompt many to move across to electric. However, it might not be as easy as some might think to make the transition, according to Just Park. The tech company who specialize in, would you believe, parking spaces, have suggested that there were 5 main barriers which could stop people from making the switch. 62% of people surveyed were most worried about sharing point infrastructure, which is definitely getting better, but nowhere near good enough for a complete switch to electric just yet. The next most common worry is how much EVs will cost, as well as how long they can go before the charge dies. Next was a lack of second-hand options available, which shouldn't be much of an issue by 2030. And the last point was a lack of knowledge. One of the other things some people mentioned was how long it actually takes to fully charge a car. Of course, to fill up a fuel tank takes a matter of minutes, but to fully charge an EV can take around an hour, which absolutely nobody has time for. Despite all of this, interest in EVs is high, and once more people realize that it is actually cheaper to run an EV than it is to run a petrol car. Interest should theoretically increase. What do you guys make of the change to EVs? There's a new player on the EV blog. Stay with us to hear about them. A new company out of Italy is making waves in the electric vehicle space. ERA, who are based in Milan, are aiming to give their customers Italian design, world-class engineering, and US customer service. The new boys have 3 planned models so far. An SUV is set to be revealed this October, whilst a salon-type car will make its debut next February, but neither will be available until at least 2025. A third model, thought to be a sports car, is yet to be given a reveal date. It is thought that each model will rival others in the EV field, with the SUV going up against the likes of the Tesla Model X, as well as the BMW iX. Of course, this one will be on the upper end of the luxury scale, and ERA have said the SUV will have leading-edge battery platform technology, targeting a range of at least 800 kilometers or 497 miles, and awe-inspiring performance. And randomly, they have said it is big enough to carry around 4 fully sized NBA players, while leaving room for a 6-foot adult in the middle of the rear seat row. It is thought that Salon will offer an even greater range than the SUV, which is pretty cool. Will you be checking these guys out? Could be a slightly more competitive option. Let us know what you think below. And finally, Hyundai has revealed its latest EV. Stick around to hear all about it. Korean car manufacturer Hyundai revealed the design for its latest EV offering last week, the Ioniq 6. The car is thought to be the latest version of the Prophecy concept EV it revealed back in 2020. The car has kept a lot of the Prophecy's features, including the cool futuristic bits, which some have compared to a prop from a sci-fi film. The car features clean lines as well as a sleek profile, and Hyundai have claimed that the car will have a drag coefficient of 0.21, which is pretty low. This is down to the position of its nose and active air flaps, as well as it being one of the more aerodynamic offerings from Hyundai. Inside, we have an interior that is chock full of sustainable materials, featuring recycled fabric as well as completely flat floors for more space. The entertainment system features a 12-inch touchscreen display, but there has so far been no announcement on specs. If we think back to the Ioniq 5, which had a 72.6 kilowatt-hour battery with up to 300 miles of range, as well as 320 horsepower, we can probably expect the Ioniq 6 to be slightly better. As usual, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to join us again next time for some more fun and games. And if you are in particularly good mood, why not do us a solid and share with any electric vehicle fans you might know of. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more fun videos in the future. Bye, guys.